Kejap.
Assalamualaikum, everybody. Good evening. Can you hear me, guys, clearly?
Yes, doctor, I can hear.
All right. Thank you very much for responding. Okay, this is This is lab course briefing basically for lab 1 and lab 2. So those who register lab 1 and lab 2 should be joining this briefing session. Now I am seeing 250 students out of approximately 600 I am expecting basically. From previous semesters, you know, we have students practically blur. They don't know what to do about many things regarding to the lab, basically. So this briefing would be very much helpful to avoid, you know, all the problems, to avoid all the things that basically you don't know throughout the semester. Okay. So my name is Dr. Kamarul. Basically, I am in charge of the lab courses in FKM. So you are basically in a Telegram group with me for Lab 1 and Lab 2. So we have one Telegram group for Lab 1 students. We have one Telegram group for Lab 2 students. Make sure you all basically stay in that group until the end of the semester. This is the only place we can basically communicate. We can you know, you can report anything, you can complain anything, if you need help or anything. This is where you put out the text and all that. All right. So because this is physical lab, next semester you can always find me in the faculty lah. All right. Okay. I hope now we have 259, including myself. It's all right. I think we can just start. So for the next coming semester, basically we have Lab 1 and Lab 2. We haven't yet basically received any request to open Lab 3, but if there are requests, basically we will open Lab 3. All right. So basically, before we start, I would like to make an announcement. Our lab will be basically start next week. All right, second week. All the labs should start second week, but because next week we have Deepavali celebration, I believe the university and the faculty has made the announcement that on Sunday till Tuesday we won't be having any lab. Basically, the lab will start on Wednesday onward. So, in case your lab is on Sunday or on Thursday, sorry, on Tuesday, so there will be no lab next week. So you'll be having the lab the week after that, meaning that on the third week. All right. So if your lab is on Wednesday or Thursday, you will be having your lab next week. All right. So basically, only students who have the lab on Sunday and on Tuesday is affected by this announcement. Other than that, you just continue your lab according to the schedule. And also, I just shared the lab schedule and the grouping. I know a number of students contacted me because they have changed their sections. They are basically you know, the names is not there. Please don't worry, okay, because the name list that you see in the groupings are very much extracted from the database, registration database last week. So as of today, basically I am extracting a new listing and I see changes in terms of student numbers and sections. So I am basically still updating the new grouping information. So I'll be sharing with you the new grouping information as soon as I can. All right. So just keep on basically looking in the Telegram group. I will be putting out new information over there. And I also want to tell you that for Lab 1, Section 1 and Section 10 basically will be combined. But the date and the day, the date and the day and the time will be maintained. So you will be having new lecturers to assist you in your lab. Right. So moving on, basically in this semester we are offering Lab 1 and Lab 2 course. As I mentioned, Lab 3 is not offered according to our program schedule, but if there are requests, we can consider opening Lab 3. All right, so for Lab 1, basically, I see new students taking Lab 1. And of course, for Lab 2, the students have already taken Lab 1 previously, so you more or less know what happened to the lab and all that. So for Lab 1, basically we have 6 lab which you have to go through: solid, fluid, thermal, material, machine, and electric. And for Lab 2, we have solid, fluid, thermal, manufacturing, machine, and industry. All right. And for Lab 1, we are basically open for AES, SEMB, V, and T students. Okay. For other courses, we did not allow registration, supposedly. And until today, I believe we have approximately 141 students registered. And for Lab 2, basically we open for all students. And to date, I think we have approximately 474 registration. That's what I managed to extract this morning. And until now, I can see we have only 268 participants in this briefing session. So still very low compared to the number of students. So hopefully, you guys. Of course, I will be sharing this session, recorded session of this briefing into the group so that you can basically watch the thing later. All right. So this is a little bit of a layout to our faculty. All right. I hope you don't get lost in this view. We have E07 building over here. Let me. Yes. So this is E07. This is where the administration building is. So in E07, basically we have fluid lab and we have electric lab. Okay. We have fluid lab and we have electric lab. Okay. And then next to E07 is E06. We have thermal lab. Okay. And then E05, we have control, instrumentation, and machine lab. Next to it, E04, we have solid lab. And then E03, you have material lab. And then moving on to E01, we have manufacturing lab. And then moving further to block C25, we have industry and metrology lab. So this is basically where you will be going to for the whole semester. These are the labs that you will have to visit lah, because this semester the lab is basically face-to-face, so you have to be physically present in the lab according to the schedule. All right. Guys, if you have any question, please hold until I finish my briefing. All right. So that's the location of the lab. Hopefully you don't get lost around. I will basically okay, I see one question. I'll be going through the question in the chat box after I finish my briefing. All right. Thank you for putting up the question also. So this is the physical lab, physical location of the lab. So hopefully you don't get lost finding these labs. All right. So this is the only location that you'll be visiting throughout the semester. Okay, then we have the overall process. Number one, basically you are basically in the Telegram group. I see the number of students in that Telegram group doesn't tally with the number of students registered. So please guys help to spread the link to the Telegram group so that your friends can join, so that you didn't miss announcement and any latest information and updates that will be very much share in the Telegram group. All right. So that's number one. Number two, okay, you really have to refer to the schedule. Okay, look where your group is, when the lab is, where the lab is. So you have to come to the briefing session, basically, in which okay, during the lab time, the lecturer will be giving you briefing about the lab, basically, before you start the experiment. And number three, the attendance has to be recorded in the attendance book in each lab. So every time you visit the lab for the experiment, make sure you put down your attendance. Okay, if you fail to do that, some marks will be deducted from your reports lah. All right. Number four, you have to, of course, after the lab briefing by the lecturer, after you record your attendance in the book in the lab, okay, then you will basically do the lab experiment. Number five, student prepare the report and submit via the web app. All right, and then number six, students can basically, the lecturers basically view and download your report. Okay, and of course, the lecturer will be submitting your marks through the system, basically. All right. So that's basically how the lab will be running. All right. For the whole semester. So because each student, basically, you have to visit 6 lab. So the process basically repeat for each lab lah. So every student, you must visit 6 lab. Okay, for each lab, basically you will have to do 2 experiments. So 6 lab time to experiment, you will have to produce in total throughout the semester, total 12 reports, basically 12 experimental reports. Right, for both lab 1 and lab 2, basically the lab, one lab will take 2 weeks time, okay, in which you have to experiment for each lab, meaning that you have first experiment in the first week, second experiment in the second week. Then you finish that lab, basically. And after you finish that 2-week lab, you will move on to the next lab according to the schedule. So out of 12 experiment in total, 11 report has to be in a short report format, and 1 report has to be in the formal report format. So the format for short report and the format for formal report will be based on the rubrics. All right. The rubrics, you can find it in the website, in which I will share you the link to the website after this. And of course, the content of the short report and the formal report will be explained to you during the briefing session for each lab by your respective lecturer. All right. So the same goes to lab 2. The same as lab 1, you have 2 weeks lab access in the schedule for experiment. We have 2 experiment. Each student must complete 2 experiment in each labs. All right. And then, of course, in total, you have 12 experiment, the same 11 short report and 1 formal report. All right. So this is basically the lab schedule. This is for lab 1. Okay, so how to basically read this schedule? Basically, you have your lecturer name down here. Okay, so number 1 to number 6 will map directly to the lab that you can see from here. Guys, please mute your microphone. All right. Thank you. So number 1, meaning that you are looking at lab fluid, lab solid. Number 2, here you are looking at lab fluid, and so on. So you have 6 lecturer, you have 6 lab, and basically you have to look at into your group, so to find where you are and when you are basically entering any lab. So number 3 is the students group. Number 4 is your date and all that. So for example, 6 of November and 13th of November, this is the date for your first week and second week lab. Your first week lab will be on the 6th of November. The second week lab will be 13th of November on Sunday from 8 to 10, all right? For example, if you are in group 1C, you will be going to lab fluid, all right? So that's for group 1C. So for example, if you move to this date, for example, okay, 11 of December and 18 of December, this is the 2 date you have lab on Sunday from 8 to 10 a.m. Group 1C now you should be in material lab, okay? So you can see, so every each 2 weeks basically you are moving to a new lab basically, all right? So you have to refer to this one. Now of course moving on to the next 2 week, group 1C will be going to lab machine, and from the first lab to the last lab you should be going through all the labs, all the 6 labs, all right? So the next thing I want to inform you guys is I basically square this date in purple or pink, all right? This is the date for which experiment you need to provide the report in formal report format, all right? So you can count here, there are 12 dates, the lab dates, all right? Altogether, there are 12 dates. So 11 dates, you have to prepare short report, and then only 1 date highlighted in purple or pink here, you have to prepare a formal report. Regardless of any experiment topic, title, whatever, as long as your lab is on this highlighted color date, you have to prepare report in the formal report format, all right? So your lab, your date will be different from section to section. All you have to do is just refer to this highlighted, the date in the highlighted color. Okay. That's for lab 2, lab 1, the same with lab 2. Okay. So basically, moving on, the lecturer will be giving you lab briefing, okay? And the lecturer should be staying to observe you during the experiment, and the lab lecturer will be performing the grading, and then of course the report will be submitted to the system, and of course your report will be sent to me. The graded report will be sent to me too. All right, and the students, basically you have to attend physically to the lab for the experiment briefing. Experiment briefing is mandatory, okay? And you have to fill up the attendance in the lab. Okay, the lab assistant engineer will guide you on that. And of course, if you didn't attend the briefing, you didn't sign the form, the attendance form, actually 5 marks will be deducted from your total marks. All right, and then number 2, download and review the rubrics, the lab sheet, and experimental videos. Okay, prepare the lab report and submit. All right. So this is what you need to do. This is the stuff. The lab staff, basically, they will prepare the experiment test rig. They record your attendance, and they will give safety briefing before you start your experiment. And of course, they should be able to guide you for the experiment. So this is the online lab resources, basically the one that I mentioned here, the rubrics, the lab sheet, and the experimental videos. All right. So you can go to this address. All right. Scroll down, you will find the eLab icon. Click on it. The page will take you to this view, lab 1, lab 2, and lab 3. So when you click the click here icon, they will be prompting a password. So this is the password for lab 1 and lab 2 and lab 3. So if you are looking at lab 1, use the password starting from add to the B there. So when you submit the thing, basically you will be able to see this page where they will be giving a short report rubric, all right, and formal report rubric. So you can download this rubric straight to your hard drive, and you can scroll down. You will see the lab basically, and on the right hand side you will see the lab sheet. Okay, so you can download the lab sheet. You can view the lab sheet, and of course there are a sample of experimental video. If you have time, you can review the experimental video before you enter the lab. So I very much encourage everybody to visit this link to the website, look at the rubrics, and look at the what they call that, look at the rubrics and look at the what they call that, lab sheet before you enter the lab. All right. So the lab sheet will not be printed by the lab staff. You will never find this lab sheet in the lab anymore. They are accessible online. You can download, you can save it in your laptop or your phone. So when you go to the lab, you can basically view those lab sheet from your phone and your laptop. All right. The lab will never provide the lab sheet to you guys because it has been made available to you online, and you can of course access the lab sheet before the lab. So that's it. Right. So basically for you guys, the submission is online. Okay. Before this, we have everything prepared in the physical copy. You know, the reports and all that. This time around, the reports will be in soft copy. Okay, in PDF. So you click into this link. This link will bring you to the web app, and from there, this is where you check your submission. This is where you basically perform your submission of the reports. All right. On the left hand side, all right, the report submission due date. So if you are doing the experiment in the same day, sorry, in the morning, okay, the submission has to be performed the same day. All right. In the same day, maybe before 12 o'clock midnight, for example. So if your experiment is in the afternoon, so the submission will be next day before 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, so this is for the short report, and the formal report basically is 3 days after the experiment, before 12 p.m. So this is the recommended or the mandatory dates provided as a guideline by the faculty. But if you, in case you need to extend or anything, you have problems meeting this due date, you have to very much ask your lecturer. Okay, if you have problem with your testing and all that, you need more time to prepare the report, or even you need to repeat the experiment, you have to tell your lecturer, and your lecturer will take note on your submission if it is late. All right. And of course, overdue submission will not be accepted. Okay, I have to tell you guys clearly, if you submit the submission after the due date, there are risks of the submission will not be accepted. All right. I know some students, this thing happens every semester, basically. Of course, we will give 0 to your report, even though you submitted your report. When if it is late, the lecturer will give you guys 0, basically. So please do not blame the system, do not blame the lecturer for giving you 0. Basically, your report is overdue. All right. So I have to clearly say this thing to you, because in the previous semesters, there are students who basically submitted the report at the end of the semester, you know, and of course was hoping that the report is accepted. Well, please don't try that this semester. Okay. This is basically the view of the web app. Okay. Put your metric number on this blank space, select the lab code that you following, click search. This basically this web app will basically display all the reports that you have submitted to the system. Okay, so in total, each student, you must have 12 reports by the end of the semester. If any reports is missing, then you won't be seeing 12. All right, so just in case your reports is not sufficient, so you have to basically perform the resubmission. So after you basically submit the report, you can immediately see the report that you submitted in this list. All right, so you have the lab, you have the experiment title, and you have the submission date. So if you submit one report twice, you'll be seeing 2 reports submitted in the same name here. So in case if you submit the wrong report or something, you have to inform me so that I can delete your submission. All right. If you report, if you are basically submitting multiple reports, your lecturer will only receive one of this report, not all three reports. Right. So you have to inform me to basically delete and of course rearrange your report lah. All right. So report to submit the report, you have to click to this link. All right, they will take you to the new page that basically will ask for detailed information before you can submit. So for one lab, you have two reports. You have to submit separate report for each experiment. I know sometimes you are doing two experiment, you want to combine the report. Please don't do that, because one report, one submission. So when you click at this web app, click search, you will see the list of your report. You should be seeing 12 at the end of the semester, 2 for every lab. All right, so you should be seeing that. So okay, basically this is the marks that I should receive from your lecture. Okay, I want to draw your attention to this thing. Okay, so please avoid late submission. Please avoid plagiarism. Please make sure that the data that you use in your report is basically belong to your group. All right. There are cases where, for example, late submission, you use wrong data set, and of course the issue of plagiarism, students really get zero for that particular report. All right. Okay, I think that's more or less it for my briefing. Okay, I will be basically start reading the question from the chat. All right, you can write in the chat, or you can unmute your microphone and start talking if you need to ask. All right, let me go through to the what they call that question in the chat box. All right. From Muhammad Arslan, can you share this map in Telegram? I will basically be sharing the slide, the PowerPoint slide just now in the Telegram group, so that you can basically access to it lah. All right. Ling Chang Yao, do we need to buy PPE or be prepared in the lab? All right, guys, when we speak about PPE, basically I received a lot of question about the safety pass. All right. For safety pass, basically you need to contact Dr. Rosalina. You will have to find her regarding the regarding the safety pass, because you need safety pass before you enter the lab. So if you don't have safety pass, the lab staff will basically stop you from entering the lab, and this is where the problems start. So if you have problem regarding the safety pass, e-learning and all that, please contact Dr. Rosalina to make sure that you will sit for the course and the exam properly. I have contacted Dr. Rosalina. I think yesterday she said something about students should be checking the web of FKM for the safety pass, because there are dates. Dates down there that basically will show when the course and exam will be taking place. I heard she say something about the test will be conducted every week on Friday, but you have to really reconfirm with Dr. Rosalina when the next course and the next exam will be. That's regarding the safety pass. And regarding the lab, guys, there will be nothing appear in your e-learning regarding the lab, because the lab will be basically about this Telegram group that we have for Lab 1 and Lab 2, and about the web app system that you can basically access through the link. So e-learning won't be utilized for this lab. So don't try to find anything in the e-learning. Nothing will be there. All right. From 10 bin G, basically different group will go to different lab at the day of the experiment. Yes, according to the schedule, different group will go to the different lab, and for the next week, basically next 2 weeks, they will be changing lab as well. So everybody will change and everybody will basically rotate to different lab. For the PPE, basically, I'm not sure about whether you have to buy safety shoe because the PPE for certain lab, I think you need safety. You need safety shoe. Maybe your if in the case of chemical and all that, you might need something else. So with regard to the PPE, you need to check with the respective lab because different lab they need different PPE. I think you need to have at least the safety shoe, and the remaining like the eyewear or the glove depends on the lab. Basically, some lab just require safety shoe, some lab maybe require safety eyeglass or glove or something. So you have to ask the respective lab for the PPE, all right? But I think safety shoe is something most of the lab will be requiring, so make sure you have one. All right, Jack, can the report will wrote digitally since online submission? Okay, for this question, basically you need to ask your lecturer in every briefing session, because basically the faculty didn't say that the report has to be handwritten or the report has to be you can type digitally. The faculty didn't put that guideline. Depend on the lecturer. If the lecturer want you guys to put it by hand, so you have to put it by hand. If the lecturer allow it to be typed using Microsoft Word, Excel, and all that, so you can do that basically, right? So you have to ask this question to your lecturer during the briefing session. From Ahmad Muhammad Ali, soft copy you minta. I have explained this, all right. Since I mentioned in PDF format, can I bring lab sheet, electronic device where I need to print it out? It's up to you guys. Lab sheet is basically provided in the electronic copy, so you can bring it in your device, laptop, gadgets, and all that. Or you can print out according to your convenience. All right. Do we have lab next week? Yes, you have, but 23, 24, 25, no lab. 26, 27, yes. So if your lab is scheduled to be on Wednesday or Thursday, you will have physical labs next week. If your lab is scheduled on Sunday and the Monday and Tuesday, no lab next week. All right. So from Muhammad Khalil, those who didn't take the safety pass test, you should be contacting Dr. Roslina. Make sure you join the next what they call that test. All right. Okay. From Fong Yika, not able to attend the lab. How can I do the replacement? Of course, if you cannot attend the session, you really have to contact the lecturer, give reason and all that, and try to see whether you can join. The lecturer will allow you to join other lab, because if you join other lab, you will have different data, you will have different briefing. So that kind of thing has to be negotiated with your lecturer. All right. Now for Yika, you have to ask you have to contact the lecturer. Guys, please mute your microphone.
这是一个夯实是吧？啊，夯实。有兴趣吗？有兴趣打那个。
Hello.
等一下。不然你告诉我，我有时间，那是问题。
How do I basically guys, who is talking basically? Okay, okay, from Aisha, what happened to the students who fail or absent the safety pass? You will be denied entry to the lab unless you can really justify why you didn't have safety pass at that point of time. All right. Basically, you will be denied entry. That's the first thing I can say, but you really have to justify to the lab staff to allow access to the lab. Okay, Izzat Khan, is it okay to have similar data and graph as my group mate? Basically, you are doing your experiment in group, so you will be having similar data, okay? And as for the graph, I think you can basically plot different graph from the same data. So it's okay to have the same, but it should be different as well. So that's very much indicate that you have different idea of the different kind of manipulation, different data transformation to the same data that you share with your group mate. So that will be basically indicating that you are doing a much more extensive review of data and all that. So you have different graph or something. Different, maybe from the different graph you can produce different analysis. So that is basically will differentiate your marks between your group mates. All right. From Vincent, if my lab time is from 11 to 1, so the submission is for the morning or afternoon? In the morning. All right, Vincent. Do I have registered section 5, but my name is not in the list. Don't worry, the group list will be updated. Okay, still in the process of updating, so just wait for my next sharing of that group information. Hafizur Rahman, what if we did not feeling well? The lab day we have MC or doctor, will our attendance count as well? You have to present your MC to the lecturer of your lab, and maybe he will do something about your MC lah. Whether he will instruct you to join the other session, because you have 2 weeks. All right, you have 2 weeks of lab. Maybe the first week you have problem with your health and all that. You have the MC. Maybe you can do the same experiment the other week. All right, something like that. From Caleb, Joshua, it's necessary to buy a lab coat, and again, the lab coat is some kind of PPE. You have to check for each lab. I think lab coat, you don't really need a lab coat, I think. Okay, I don't see any lab that requiring a lab coat for the experiments, including the material science. Okay, but if you have extra pocket money, you can basically get one. All right. Next question from Jeremy Hugh. I had changed my section. Okay, don't worry if you have changed your section or anything. Okay, that information will be appearing in the latest database from the AIMS. I will be extracting data from that, and I will update the group information from that database. All right. Okay, Jeremy Hugh will be changed later. Yes. Osama, are you going to share the recording? Yes, I will share this recording into the group as well. Mohammed, Monday and Tuesday no lab, or online no lab. All right, Monday and Tuesday no lab. It's not online lab. No lab at all. No lab at all. You will have to do the lab next week, the other week, the third week, right? From Jack, my name is so wait for the next group list. I will share the slide after this briefing session. Jeremy, oh, welcome, Jeremy. Okay. Do we have other question, guys, before we dismiss? Because I'm reading from the, okay, I'm reading from this. From Chong Ja Young, basically, we have lab on Sunday. The lab session will be postponed next week, meaning that we have to do both 2 lab in the next week. Yes, Chong Ja Young, Young, you are correct. Your lecturer has been briefed. The lab staff has been briefed. In the case that you have to postpone your lab next week to the other week, basically you are basically doing 2 lab in 1 week. And if these 2 experiment, the time is not sufficient for 2 experiment to be done in that session, your lecturer and your lab staff will arrange extra time for you. All right, that's for this case. All right, the lecturer will try to cram 2 experiment in 1 meeting. If the time is not sufficient, they will arrange another time for you guys. All right. Do we have another question? You're welcome, Yisheng. Okay. Okay, we have more from raw file. I did course amendment for lab 2 to change lab 1. Will there any updates and group extraction? Basically, Yes, I will basically update the name list. In this case, Rafael, you change from Lab 2 to Lab 1, so you need to exit the Telegram group of Lab 2 and join the Telegram group for Lab 1. All right. And of course, I'll be updating the name list in the group very soon. And if you still see that your name is not there or the section is not correct, you will have to inform me. I will change it manually then, because the information that I gather from for the new name list is extracted this morning. So if your registration or if your insert delayed is basically approved in the afternoon, then your name might be missing somewhere. All right. You have to inform me after I share the next updated name list. All right. Any other question? All right, I think that's more or less it. If you have another question, guys, you can put it in the Telegram group. Maybe we'll be chatting. We'll be texting in the group. All right, basically. Okay, guys. So next week the lab will start on Wednesday. So please take your time reviewing the information from the web regarding the lab. And of course, if you want to know about the PPE, you can visit the lab on Sunday or even on Tuesday before you enter the lab on Wednesday or Thursday. All right. Ask the lab staff about the PPE and make yourself prepared. And also you can ask about the safety pass and all that to the lab staff. All right. So if you have more question, just put it in the Telegram group. I will be answering the question from there. All right, don't worry about the name. Your name doesn't appear in the list yet. I am basically still in the process of updating the grouping name list. All right, once I have the latest one, I'll be sharing in the Telegram group. All right, I think that's more or less it, guys, for the briefing for this time.